a rift in Death's design.
Which means Death could be coming for us.
I have this really bad feeling. It's not over yet.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another Final Destination Friday. I'm so happy you guys are loving this series and saw Saturdays, and have already gotten so many amazing ideas for like future series. Massacre Mondays, Wrong Turn Wednesdays, Scream Sundays. But I am going to do one series at a time after these two series. When I'm finished with Saw Saturdays and Final Destination Fridays, we'll just do one at a time, and then I can review more regular movies in the week as well. So today we're going to be talking about Final Destination 2, and as I mentioned in the last Final Destination Friday last week, by the way, if you missed it, I will link that video down below. As I mentioned, this one is my favorite Final Destination movie. The reason why, it's not necessarily the acting or like this, you know, the movie itself. It is the one that is the scariest to me personally. I've had two major phobias, roughly phobias, of driving, car accidents, things like that, and also dental work. So this movie contains both of those things, and the first opening scene that we see of the pileup is my worst nightmare. So this opening scene, although that doesn't happen that often, it is based off a real car accident that did happen, not car accident, car pileup that did happen. So the accident was actually based off a 125 car pileup that happened in Georgia in 2002. So you want to say like, oh, that's so unrealistic, like those kind of pileups, they happen, but like that's super rare, and they're never that bad. 125 cars, in real life, it actually happened, okay? This one, I think, in the movie had less than that. That's why this movie is so horrifying. This hands down has to be the scariest intro because it is the most realistic in my opinion. Car accidents happen all the time, and not necessarily as bad as that, but they do happen. And so like a plane crashing or a roller coaster, those are so rare. But things like this that happen on the freeway, you see it all the time when you're driving on the freeway, that there's accidents. Granted, they're not like, I mean, I've never seen a really terrible one, but I'm sure some of you have, so that's why the opening scene of this one is the most scary to me. So this movie is directed by David Ellis, who also did The Final Destination, Snakes on a Plane, and Homeward Bound 2, Lost in San Francisco. I don't know, he's versatile. So Final Destination 2 picks up 1 year after the Flight 180 crash, and it follows a new set of people because most of the people, as we know, die in the first Final Destination film. There is, however, one survivor, Clear Rivers. She has been cooped up in a mental institution for the past year in a padded room, and one of the things that you have to kind of look at is like, yeah, the nurses like take away all your stuff so you don't kill her by some freak accident, because she obviously thinks that death is coming for her, but she has a TV monitor in her padded room, which could, you know, there's a lot of stuff that could happen with the TV monitor. Have like an electrical fire, it could explode and shoot glass into her face. Anyway, there's a new premonition. This girl and her friends are going on a road trip, and they are getting onto the freeway when the premonition hits her, and as usual, when she comes out of the premonition after seeing the whole accident happen, the whole pileup, she starts to realize that the little things that were happening that started the whole process were actually happening. And so she pulls ahead of everybody while she was already in front, but she like moves her car sideways so no one can get on the freeway to prevent anyone from getting in that accident. The cop goes up to her and says, "What's happening?" And then she's like, "There's gonna be a huge accident," and then the accident does occur. So there are a bunch of people who are saved because of her. And like in the first one, death is coming for them. I'd say death is kind of active in this film because there's a lot of wind happening, there's doors opening, and like, so it is actually like a kind of a physical thing that can do things. And I think later on it gets to, there's still wind involved, but I think it's a lot more subtle and things just randomly happen versus like it opens a door or closes a door or whatever. This one has some of my favorite deaths. I don't know what one's exactly my favorite, but I really love the glass crushing the kid. and you see his body just kind of like collapse, like be crushed, and I love that. We have the girl, oh my gosh, this one's really good. So they like get into kind of an accident like later on in the film, and there are these white pipes, and you're like, oh, someone's gonna die from those white pipes. And then everything happens, it shoots through the car, through the front seat, and you think she's gonna die, but she like is propelled forward, and then yeah, she stops and she doesn't impale her head on it. And that whole scene is probably one of my favorite scenes out of this film, because we have a couple deaths happening. Her death is really, really cool because while they're like cutting the log off of her legs, they deploy the airbag, which then shoots her head back, and she is then impaled through the face with the white pipe. So when that happens, she drops her cigarette. You know, there was a gas leak. There was like this gas like leaking. Obviously death is like controlling the situation and leaking the gas or whatever. So the car explodes, in turn exploding a fence or whatever, and it shoots the barbed wire fence through this guy, and he's cut in 3 pieces. It's awesome. So like in the first one, we have a lot of little subtle things that you can kind of pick up here and there that are kind of either foreshadowing or tying into the first film. A lot of the foreshadowing you can see in the guy who has won the lottery before his death. We have, when he first walks in, there is a baby doll on the ground who's missing an eye, which foreshadows into his death. And when he's looking at his new like ring that he bought, the horseshoe symbol is upside down, which is said to be unlucky. And then when he is like cooking food, obviously what starts like the microwave thing when he's stuck in the garbage disposal is when the magnet falls from his fridge, and then it spells I, which again is foreshadowing into his death of the ladder falling through his face, through his eye. So I love the subtleties. There's just little things. Even the news station, it was called like WWED or something like that, and the writers of this movie selected those letters on purpose because it stands for When Will Everyone Die? But you would never know that. You'd think it's just a random radio or a TV station that's, you know, doing the news and not really pieced together that's what it stands for. That's all I really have to say about my favorite Final Destination movie. Let me know what your favorite is out of the whole series. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Stay tuned for tomorrow's Saw Saturday, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.